You know, if you had joined us a month ago, you would have been greeted with piles of snow and slush and all the fun things that make a great spring in Illinois. So we thank you for rearranging your schedule and being with us today at the State of the Village for the Village of Channahon. I'm Caroline Porlock. I'm with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to what is, I think, our 10th time of hosting the Village of Channahon's State of the Village. So again, it's nice to have some sunshine. I think everybody's in a much better mood when it's sunny out, and it's easier to drive and get here, isn't it? On your table is the latest newsletter for the Channahon Economic Development Council, and so we encourage you to take a look at it, take it home with you if you'd like. Nicole and Mike are in the back if they'll wave. If you'd like more copies of that, or if you'd like to be put on the mailing list, they can certainly email that to you as well. Mike also has the fishbowl, and I collected some business cards from some of you. If you haven't had an opportunity to, he will be going around and taking your business card, and that will be for 2 Cubs tickets. No, you cannot exchange them for socks. But, you know, the Cubs are celebrating 100 years at Wrigley, so I think it would be a fun time to go nonetheless. We're going to go ahead and get started with this program. So feel free to drop your business card, wave Mike down if you find a business card. And like I told some of you, if you don't have a business card, credit card, diner's cards, gift cards are also welcome. I'd like to introduce some of the elected officials that are in the room. And of course, our state senator and state representatives are in Springfield right now, where they should be. But we've got Jessica Fox from State Representative John Anthony's office. From Will County, we've got Will County Recorder Karen Stukel. From Grundy County, we've got Grundy County State's Attorney Jason Helen. And board member Tara Lundeen. Sorry. From the Village of Minooka, we've got Mayor Brennan. From the Village of Plainfield, we've got Mayor Collins. I certainly want to say thank you to the students of MCTV, the Minooka Community High School students who are filming today, so if you'll join me in thanking them. Mayor Cook is going to introduce much of the leadership team from the Village of Channahon, but I want to make sure that I introduce the Planning and Zoning board member Jim Profit is here. Our village clerk, Patricia Pernar. And the police chaplain, Pastor Ben. And then I'll just ask that all of the Village of Channahon trustees and leadership team stand to be recognized, and then he will be recognizing you during the program. So trustees and administrator, police chief, come on, you guys are out there. There you go. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mayor Joe Cook. He has been mayor now starting his 12th year in office, and he has been an elected official for 18 years. In addition to his duties at the village, he has served as past chair of the Metro Mayor's Caucus, past president of the Will County Governmental League, and he's the current vice president of the Illinois Municipal League. He is also extremely active in numerous boards and committees and organizations throughout the area. And I'm pleased to introduce to you now Mr. Joe Cook, Mayor Joe Cook.
Well, thank you, Caroline, and I want to thank the Chamber for all they do and for hosting us here today. And I want to welcome all of you to the 2014 Channahon State of the Village Address. It's a much nicer day than when we first planned this, and the sun is shining and a lot less snowballs being hit by me leaving, so this will be great. Once again, I'm honored to be before you to talk about my favorite subject, that's the Village of Channahon. better known as the safest community in Will and Grundy counties and the 16th safest in the state of Illinois. Good job, guys. "11 years ago, when I gave my first State of the Village address, I talked about many challenges we were facing in the community. I talked about explosive residential growth, the burden on our schools and public services, and the lack of a diversified tax base. A few years later, I came before you to let you know of the progress that we had made overcoming these earlier challenges. I again told you that Channahon's best days were still ahead. Then the national recession hit, and we were faced with a whole new set of challenges for the next several years. We saw a dramatic rise in home foreclosures, entire planned developments were being taken over by banks, and many businesses closed their doors in the face of bankruptcy. And our own village budget faced dramatic revenue declines. I remind you of these recent past years, not to make excuses or cloud your spirits. I mentioned the past to tell you that Channahon has navigated through some very rough waters, and we are still steaming ahead. Many have said that Channahon has navigated those waters better and faster than most. I will tell you that as proud as Channahon is, as proud as I am to be Channahon's mayor, we are also humble. While we take those compliments, we know that's been hard work, and that we still have miles to go before we rest. With that said, today is my chance to thank folks for their hard work, to recognize the progress we have made, outline the opportunities we face, and to provide a couple suggestions for the way forward. The first people I need to thank for their dedication to Channahon are my members of the village board. Senior board member Sam Greco, trustee Scott McMillan, trustee Deb Militello, trustee Missy Schumacher, trustee Scott Slocum, and trustee Mark Skaggs. Each one of these individuals serve with respect and the desire to continue to make a difference in their community. I am grateful for their dedication to Channahon, and I'm honored to serve with all of them. As I stand here today, I am pleased to tell you that the state of the village is that Channahon is ripe. We are ripe for investment. That's right, Channahon is ready. We have the spirit, we have the know-how, we have the will, and the foundation to be a stronger partner for all those who seek to invest in this great community. We have an outstanding executive team that stands committed to assist any would-be investors. And I have made it my priority to reject paradigms of red tape and bureaucracy that often stand in the way of progress. At this time, I'd like to recognize our executive team and thank them for their hard work and dedication to the vision of a better Channahon. Village Administrator Joe Pena, Finance Director Bob Guess, Public Works Director Ed Dolezal, Director of Development Mike McMahon, and our Chief of Police Jeff Wold. So you guys all please stand to be recognized. As you may have heard, the village of Channahon is readying itself for a big transition. In just a few weeks, Village Administrator Joe Pena will be leaving Channahon to enjoy retirement with his family. As our police chief, Joe set the foundation for the recognized policing organization that Channahon Police Department is today. And when called upon by me, Joe took the role as administrator with the same professionalism he has every task of his career. He continued to prove himself as a leader and continues to be a fine spokesperson for the village of Channahon. Joe, once again, on behalf of the Channahon residents, thank you and congratulations on your retirement. Joe is not the only one in the village will miss, but has earned a well-deserved retirement. Bob Guess has served as Channahon's finance director for over 20 years. And at the end of June, he will be leaving the village hall for retirement, but he has assured me he will not be leaving Channahon. In his 20-plus years of service, Bob has helped lead this village finances through both good and bad times, but always kept his promise to protect the taxpayer's dollar. Under Bob's leadership, Channahon is able to abate taxes on every general obligation bond, has recognized bond ratings that surpass most units of local government in the state, including the state of Illinois itself, and has continued to receive awards for budgeting and audit reporting. On behalf of the village, I again say, Bob, thank you for your service and congratulations on your retirement, sir. As I said earlier, Channahon is ripe for investment. Helping make us ripe and ready for investment is Channahon's Economic Development Corporation. As a public-private partnership, its mission is to enhance the quality of life for the citizens of Channahon by promoting and supporting existing businesses and attracting new businesses to the community. With the Channahon EDC creation, the village has forged invaluable partnerships with ExxonMobil, First Community Bank, Harris Bank, the private bank, the Morris Hospital, along with other Channahon businesses and other taxing bodies, including the Park District and our area schools. For those who wish to invest in Channahon, these partners will be here to be an advocate for you and your business. Thank you to all that serve on the boards and the various committees of the Channahon EDC. Thanks, folks. In October of last year, the village held an investor's bus tour, visiting 39 industrial and commercial properties. 20 individuals from the real estate community participated in the tour, with 10 more attending the networking session. With the contacts we made as part of the tour, we are continuing to follow up on would-be investors. Also partnering with the Village of Minooka, Channahon was awarded a $50,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Commerce. Working with Northern Illinois University and engineering consultants, both communities will undertake a water and sewer feasibility study and economic cluster analysis for the western portion of the village near the New Brisbane Road interchange. I want to thank the mayor and the board of the Village of Minooka for partnering with us on that. I think it's a great example of how two communities can work together for the betterment of all the residents. Thank you, Mayor Brennan, and your board. Clean Line Energies continues its efforts to become a utility in Illinois in order to construct its direct current transmission line that would terminus in Channahon. In order to make the project feasible, the Joy at Arsenal Enterprise Zone was amended to include the project area. I want to thank all those inside the Enterprise Zone. Special thanks to Larry Walsh. He's done a wonderful job at helping us get through that. So thank you to the Will County Board and all those involved. This past year, Oxable purchased the former Sate Group plant, comprised of 7 properties totaling 127 acres with future plans for expansion. Several weeks ago, the village board approved a site plan and engineering drawings for an expansion of utility concrete operations in Channahon. The new 50,000 square foot concrete plant will house approximately 50 new workers. IDI renewed its contract for the purchase of a 128th acre beef farm at the corner of Bluff Road and I-55. The plans call for 2 million square foot of industrial buildings to be constructed. The village will be seeking cooperations from the other taxing bodies in the way of rebates for improvements to Bluff Road interchange and a water main extension to serve not only IDI's development, but to open up a new economic development corridor along the East I-55 frontage area. Those rebates will not be an incentive to the developer, but will be used by the village to fund bond service associated with those improvements. One of our highlights of the past year was when the Illinois Department of Transportation approved funding in the amount of $22.5 million for the reconstruction of the US Route 6 and I-55 interchange. That work on the interchange will begin the fall of this year, and as with Phase 1, will be ending in the fall of 2015. This will be a bit of a heartache during the construction, but when finished, will make the entire interchange area safer and ready for economic development. In September of last year, the Village Board and Planning and Zoning Commission held a joint meeting to discuss ways to re-energize new housing starts. At that meeting, it was recognized that the empty platted lots in Channahon represented approximately 5% of all the inventory in the Chicagoland region. To help us move our stalled new housing starts, staff completed an inventory and posted it on the village website on the community development page. Letters were mailed to the presidents of 267 Chicago area builders, informing them of the available lots here in Channahon. Although new home building is slow to recover, existing home sales are still strong in Channahon. Total single-family home transactions last year hit 160, up from 115 the previous year. And the total dollars in home sales went over $31 million in 2013, up from $22 million in 2012. As we sit today, inventory of for sale houses in Channahon remains low, while the demand continues to increase. As we're all aware, this winter has been one of the worst and seemingly one of the longest in recent memory. But the village equipment and staff were up to task. Snow and ice removal crews have responded to 39 separate weather events this season, including our previous scheduled date for this meeting here. During these events, our plow drivers covered over 22,000 miles of streets, almost as much as the previous 3 years combined. Fortunately, the village has maintained the resources to provide these needed services. The village was prepared to expend the needed $100,000 on salt this season. Summarily, overtime hours are about 2.3 times of what was anticipated during the budget process of spring of 2013. Yet the village's ability to respond financially and laboriously has been evident. Prior to winter, this past calendar year, 597 feet of sidewalk was installed or repaired. The crews began using mudjacking equipment to repair trip hazards on our sidewalks. After 1 year of use, indications are that this has fulfilled its goal of a quicker and less disruptive repairs, allowing us to complete our work in days instead of weeks. On behalf of the entire Channahon community, I would like to thank our Public Works staff for their hard work and a job well done. Public Works guys, will you stand up, please? As Public Works looks to this next year, they will continue to work on the road program, including more resurfacing, more asphalt preservation, and repair to sidewalks, curbs, and utilities in and around the village and the village streets. Keeping Channahon's assets in good condition and protecting our investment will continue to be a priority. None of this could be done without maintaining our fiscal shape. The current vitality of the village of Channahon fiscal shape is very strong. Our current bond rating of a AA2 is excellent, and with this rating, any future bond issues will be at an advantageous rate. Our general operating fund cash reserves remain at more than 50% of our yearly expenditures, preparing us in the event of any major revenue shortfall. All funds have positive balances, and the upcoming 14-15 budget is consistent in maintaining or improving those balances. The only negative continues to be the frivolous lawsuits by the RTA, the City of Chicago. The recent Hartney Oil decision by the Illinois Supreme Court ratified what we have been saying from day one. Channahon has followed the rules that have been in place for over 6 decades. And as the court reaffirmed that our rebate program is not a sham, and in fact the commerce that's been taking place are legitimate business transactions. Unfortunately, under political pressure, the Illinois Department of Revenue adopted emergency rules that now makes Illinois even less desirable from a viewpoint of business, and only muddies the waters as it relates to sales tax. Our latest talks with the department leads us to believe, though, they are interested in finding a resolution to this issue, and we will continue to work with them on behalf of Channahon. Channahon will continue to fight for every revenue dollar we can on behalf of our entire community. Because of Channahon's responsible planning, any loss of rebate revenues will not impact day-to-day operations, and the fight we battle has not and will not be funded on the backs of our residents. It is understandable that this issue is going to make headlines, but make no mistake, this issue does not define us, nor does it consume us. What does define us is the fact that we remain diligent in our fiduciary duty to the taxpayers of Channahon. To highlight that, I'm proud to say that for the 9th year in a row, Channahon is the recipient of the Government Finance Officers Association Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This achievement marks the highest form of recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting. Thank you and congratulations to the Finance Department and the entire staff for their hard work in helping us reach this incredible milestone. Thank you. As a pledge to our taxpayers, Channahon will continue to look at every opportunity to enhance revenues from the outside. And as I said earlier, we are ready to welcome such investment. This year, the police department, through its partnership with the community and a proactive approach to crime prevention, has seen an average reduction in crime in excess of 18%. Property crimes are down over 48%, hence our award-winning status as a safe community. The police department's dedication to community and professional development is evident in many ways. This past year, after review, the Channahon Police Department was granted continued accreditation through the Illinois Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. Our school active shooter drill prepared over 100 local police officers to protect our children, our most valued and most vulnerable folks in our society. We continue our community emergency response training to better prepare our community to assist one another in times of crisis, and numerous community programs geared towards all age groups. Our youth are served by school resource officers, bullying prevention curriculum, bike safety program, and our free fingerprinting and identification packet initiatives. Our young adults benefit from our police cadet and peer jury programs. Adults can enjoy our Citizens Police Academy, where they can get a feel for what it's like to be a police officer and interact with the police department on a non-traditional level. Many continue this relationship through the Citizens Police Academy Alumni Association. Our elderly are represented by our Elderly Services Officer, and through our participation and involvement in Triad, Triad is a collaborative effort between the police department and our senior citizens to reduce victimization, assess the needs and concerns, and address safety and security issues for our aging community members. Chief Jeff Wold, in his continued efforts to provide the best police services possible to our community, has recently recertified by the Illinois Chiefs of Police Association as a certified police chief. This voluntary certification contributes substantially to enhancing police chiefs' professionalism and allows for continued professional growth and educational development. Undeniably, certified chiefs demonstrate higher levels of competence in their professions. Congratulations, Chief. I know our village board supports the professional development of the entire department and the continuing accreditation to highlight the best in law enforcement services. The police department has also remained fiscally responsible while providing those services. All while working within their budget, they were able to replace 3 squad cars, reduce overtime by 19%, and increase training hours from over 1,500 to over 1,800 hours. Training highlights including adding 2 firearms instructors, internet crimes training, police supervision class, and critical incident debriefing. This is not only an exceptional but a unique year for our police department. Lieutenant Mark Fisher retired this past year after 33 years of service to the community. And the department recently completed our first testing process using the newly created police hiring board, consisting of police and human resource personnel. This led to the hiring of 2 new officers, one of which was a former Channahon police cadet. Both new hires started at the police academy this past Monday, and we expect great things from both of them. To better provide for the needs of our village and provide for more efficient and effective delivery of services, the police department has gone through some restructuring. We have eliminated the lieutenant's position and have appointed 2 sergeants, Shane Casey and Adam Bogart, to the rank of deputy chief, and promoted Craig Gunty to sergeant in order to provide for a more proficient chain of command and consistent division of duties. Sadly, and with heavy hearts, we must also grieve the passing of longtime police and fire commissioner and former police officer William Kennedy. William's dedication and direction has laid the foundation and has guided our efforts into the organization we are today. He has truly left an indelible mark on the police department that will live on. As a way of honoring Bill and his legacy, I have renamed the Officer of the Year Award the William Kennedy Officer of the Year Award. I'd like to at this time recognize Bill's wife, Pam Kennedy, and the rest of his family. Each year, I have the privilege to honor someone from the Channahon Police Department for their hard work, courage, exceptionalism, and dedication to the profession of policing. This year, through the nominating committee, I have the unique honor of recognizing an entire shift of energetic young officers that truly bring honor to their profession. Let me give you just a few examples of the great work this shift has performed. In March of last year, the shift responded to a domestic which turned into an armed subject who displayed a gun and pointed it to his own head. The critical nature of the incident put both the officers and the armed subject in great risk. With amazing restraint and the ability to verbally de-escalate the situation, the incident was able to be resolved peacefully without harm to the subject or any of the responding officers. In April, members of that same shift responded to a domestic call with a knife. Without injury again to anyone, they were able to disarm the offender, then arrest and charge with the felony aggravated domestic battery. In May again, officers from that same shift responded to an area near Dollinger Farm, where the day shift had been involved in a foot pursuit with a suicidal subject who was still at large. Officer Carlton and Gunty were able to locate and apprehend the subject before he had the opportunity to harm himself. Again in July, they responded to a domestic with a knife call on Hemlock Road. The officers were met by a female armed with a knife in the driveway. They were able to get her to drop the knife and take her into custody without incident. In October, they were able to spike strip a vehicle that Bolingbrook PD was pursuing. The vehicle was wanted for involvement in a shooting and rammed a Bolingbrook squad car. After a successful spike strip, the sergeant was able to locate one of the offenders hiding in a wooded area. Again, those incidents, they had, among those incidents, they also had time to catch thieves involved in a rash of truck complaints, apprehend offenders of a local business break-in. They were recognized by the Channahon Fire Chief for assisting on a serious life-saving fire call. And in their spare time, they recovered a stolen semi-truck, served 25 arrest warrants, apprehended 3 offenders involved in garage break-ins, made 40 DUI arrests, and 40 drug arrests, including 4 that led to felony charges. All this, and they completed this without any accidents, any injuries, or any formal complaints. At this time, it is again my honor to recognize this year's this year's Police Officers of the Year, John Blau, Dustin Carlson, Andrew Chappell, and Sergeant Craig Gunte. Andrew? Yep. Dustin? John? Congratulations. Sergeant? Thank you very much. This is the best of the best, folks, right here. I know they're proud to be the first recipients of the 2014 William Kennedy Officer of the Year. Thank you, gentlemen. As I said earlier in this address, this is my opportunity to thank folks that have made a significant difference in Channahon. We would not be as successful as we are without our business partners. Many of our businesses work with us during the year to help us enhance the quality of life for our residents through a variety of programs, events, and initiatives. Each year we recognize one of those businesses as the Fred Ridolph George Sparagus Business of the Year. This year's recipient has shown that no matter how big the corporation is, your heart can still be in the community. Since coming to Channahon in 2006, they day after day have been willing to support our community. Besides providing support for Warrior Dash, JDRF, Village Staff Health Services, St. Baldrick's, Relay for Life, the list goes on and on. They have been the leading sponsors for Channahon's National Night Out Against Crime, not only giving their product, but also the time of their manager, Bob Becker. He's eagerly been at every one of those events. It is my pleasure this year to announce the Fred Ridolph George Sparagus Business Recipient of the Year, Walgreens. recognize your folks with you.
My district manager, Darren Benton, my pharmacy district supervisor, Bill Powers, friend Dale Ambler, and pharmacy intern, Ben Spiegel.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. One thing that I've always known about Channahon, and if you're new, you will learn it very quickly, is that our residents are always willing to give of themselves. Volunteerism has always been a cornerstone for life here in Channahon. Each year, we recognize one of the many residents that have made a difference to others in our community. Much like its namesake, the Amos Moose Hayes Citizen of the Year Award represents a spirit of community. Spirit is something this year's recipient knows just a little something about. Besides being a loving wife to her husband, Casey, and a loving mother to her 3 sons, Matt, Zach, and Alec, she is also a businesswoman and a coach. If those titles don't keep her busy enough, she's a tireless volunteer. She is a room mom and a religious education teacher at St. Anne's. Since opening 5-Star Cheer Academy, her and her partner has made fundraising and charity a key part of how their business can give back to a community. When one of the young girls involved in 5-Star Cheer was diagnosed with liver cancer, she and her crew rallied around the girl and her family to give support any way they could. Even more recently, our recipient joined Pink Heels as a way to support women and children who are battling cancer or are survivors of cancer. With her guidance, Pink Heels has already made a positive impact on the Channahon community. What I think is really remarkable, though, is that through her coaching skills, she has taught many children cheering and tumbling. But through her actions and by example, she has taught those same kids, and frankly a lot of us adults, what true spirit is. Ladies and gentlemen, this year's Amos Hayes Citizen of the Year goes to Angie Caldwell. As you can see, we have many fine folks here in Channahon, many fine businesses, and many great leaders. But before I end today, I want to thank the rest of our village staff for all they do. Will all the rest of the village staff please stand, be recognized. Oscar Wilde said that success is a science. If you have conditions, you get results. Your hard work and dedication have set the conditions for success. I want to thank my entire staff for the Village of Channahon for making Channahon such a great success. And as you have heard, Channahon has a lot to be proud of and a lot to look forward to. We're busy. We have accomplished much, but there's still much to do. And as long as we have the can-do attitude, we can accomplish any task before us. And with strategic investment, we can capitalize on every opportunity. I will tell you that Channahon is as strong as it's ever been, but can be stronger still. With continued support of all of you, our businesses, and our residents, Channahon will continue to be a great place to live, work, and do business. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to everyone who have done such a great job of making the Village of Channahon a great place to be. And congratulations to the award recipients. I'm going to ask that at the end of the program, all of you join us up front so that we can get nice pictures of you with your plaques instead of the moving pictures that you'll probably see on Facebook in a few minutes. As Mike makes his way up with the fishbowl, we'll make one final call for your business card. And while he's making his way up, I will also remind you the next chamber event is our annual wine and beer tasting. Sorry, kids, you have to be 21. But it's at Chapin's East. It will go towards our scholarship fund and our building fund so that we can make repairs to our 107-year-old chamber building. And that will be on May 4th, and there are little tags out at the back when you registered. There are tags.